Wardrobe for the Bass Tour Anglers podcast is provided by Koppel Outfitters. Go have an adventure. Visit them online at www.koppeloutfitters.com and on social media at Koppel Outfitters. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our trending segment. Our guest is actually making his second appearance on the Bass Tour Anglers podcast. You are the first person that's been on here twice. Congratulations. He's an expert on Western Desert Lakes. He's gonna fish the National Professional Fishing League Pro Series starting this year in 2021. And that's what we have him on to talk about today. Welcome back to the show, Chase Colby. How are you?
Good, Keith. How are you doing? I appreciate you having me on, especially for the second time.
Well, as I said, it's inevitable that someone is going to be here for the second time. We've done, I don't know, something like 45 interviews since the whole thing started. But happy to have you back. Wanted to talk to you today because the NPFL new schedule is out. It's been something that we've been looking forward to, and it's out. And wanted to get what you thought about it. So, what are your initial thoughts about the new schedule?
It looks real good. I'm excited about it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of travel for me coming from southern Utah. The first event is in Alabama, which I'm excited. Really excited for that event. I think it's still kind of a springtime schedule for that first event, and then we kind of move on into Texas, and then like you mentioned earlier, it's going to be kind of a summer schedule. Looking forward to the Florida event. That's also going to be a lot of travel for me, but I've never been there. I've been back to Florida and fished for peacock bass near the Miami area, but never fished that side of the Orlando area. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, it's what I wanted to ask you about. Now, the schedule sets up pretty nicely from the standpoint that it's basically one each month. Now, will you be traveling there and then back home in between events? Are you going to make those long drives back home, or are you going to leave your boat somewhere and fly back, or how will that all work out?
I've been weighing a couple of different options actually. I'm going to try to do a Class C motorhome type deal and travel all the way back there and travel all the way back. So trying to arrange a vehicle, to utilize while I'm back there. But yes, I'm going to travel all the way to each event and all the way back, just because I got a full-time job and then, trying to fish in between. So the schedule is going to work out, decent for me. I'm kind of planning on 12 to 13 days on the road, to take us to a couple of days to get there. I'm going to take my family probably on 3 out of 4, maybe 4, hopefully 4 out of the 7 events if we are able to fish all 7 events. So it's going to be, we're going to utilize it as a family vacation, and we're going to go see, kind of go travel across the country and see the world, see a lot of things we've never seen before, and then mix some fishing in between there and make it all work.
So looking at this schedule, you just never know. I mean, this year there were so many fall events because COVID pushed all these events to the later part of the year. But this schedule does kind of set up as a summer-looking schedule. Now, obviously, you fall in March and Wright Patman in April. Those are still going to be kind of spring-type events. But the rest of that schedule, it's going to be warm in June in Florida. I'll tell you that right now. And I think Pickwick in mid-July is going to you're going to need to be able to fish some ledges there, because that's midsummer pattern there on Pickwick, is those offshore sites. I can't tell you too much about Wisconsin, but I've always wanted to fish there. It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. And then Grand Lake is just kind of teetering on the edge of September and fall.
Yeah, I've never been up in Wisconsin either. I'm really looking forward to that event. To be honest, that's should be kind of a mixed bag, largemouth and smallmouth. So that's going to be one of those events. It's going to kind of throw a lot of people for a loop, but hopefully with my smallmouth knowledge, from the West Coast, I should be able to compete and do just fine.
Now, this is what I find to be really fascinating. What have you started? What kind of preparation have you started? Are you looking at these lakes yet? I mean, are you thinking about them? Will you take any trips to them before the season starts? What is your process on that?
It's pretty complicated, especially for a guy like me. I'm clear across the other side of the country. So yes, I have started the process. I've been kind of organizing a couple of different notes and planners per lake. My philosophy is just to get online and do all the research, via the web, and get all the information that I can possibly get, from there. And then I've got what I call the action packer philosophy. And each event, I find all the different baits and the tackle and everything that I need per event, and I put it in an action packer, and I label it, that specific lake, so that when I get there, I'm not confused. I'm not trying to dig through a bunch of other stuff. So it'll be all packed nicely per event, and looking at all the information that's available, online. We do have there's a couple of rules with the league. There's a 30-day, basically 30-day off limit, is essentially what it is. But I will not be traveling back there. If I do get on my way back, I might stop at, say Oklahoma or something for that last event. One of the times, just to look around, and if I'm able to stop at one of the lakes, as I'm coming back from Florida or something like that, then I'll try to do that if it fits in the schedule. But it's going to be, pretty busy for me to try to get back there. We're gonna document all of it. It should be pretty entertaining for YouTube content, for some West Coast guys to travel up from here all the way back there and try to plan and schedule all this, and try to stop at some cool sites, and maybe some lakes that I've always wanted to stop by and fish for a day, and then get back and go to work for 3 or 4 weeks, and then do it again. So it should be quite the experience.
That's pretty cool. I wanted to ask you about that. In terms of getting ready, I think the action packs or tackle packs you're talking about is interesting. Do you? I guess you'll probably be looking at a lot of YouTube, because I mean there's so much content on YouTube now. I'm sure you can find uh, what other people have done. Maybe some Google Earth stuff too, and any of that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been on Google Earth already. The first event I'm focused on, Lake Eufaula right now. I haven't even got halfway through my action packer with Lake Eufaula, so I'm still working on Eufaula right now. And between the holidays and January, February, hopefully I'll be able to get through all 6 events, and have it all kind of put in an action packer, so that, like I say, when I get there, I'm all prepped and ready. I've got some Google Earth files already, scheduled or, on my hard drive, and we've been doing a lot of research with Lake Eufaula. Just looked at some results from an FLW tournament today, specifically kind of targeting that time of year and that kind of thing. So yeah, there's plenty of content that's available on YouTube, and all the different series and the leagues that's produces content per event. So there's a lot of information available if you just dig around and look at it.
I'm just kind of wondering, when you do your pre-tournament preparation, which is I guess what you're doing right now. You're not going to see the lakes necessarily, but do you try to come up with a number, because you can find results online? You try to come up with a number of what weight typically wins or does well for that specific time. So do you have kind of a number in mind when you go to that lake in terms of how much weight you need to catch?
I do, yeah. That's one of the first things that I look at. I try to find tournament results, and then find the top 25. My goal is to go into a tournament and figure out how I'm gonna be able to do the best, and catch the right pound, the right sack per day to be in the top 20. So absolutely, yes. That's one of the first things I look at, and then I try to figure out what baits are producing, those specific heavier bags, and then kind of, go from there.
Now, you're going to be going into these events without a lot of experience on these waters. You're going to be fishing against people that spend a lot of time on these waters. Um, what are your thoughts on that? I suppose those people that spend a lot of time on the water, may have a lot of preconceived notions. They may get stuck fishing what has traditionally worked. You, on the other hand, come in without a lot of experience. It might even be an advantage fishing from that angle. What do you think?
I agree. It's just like fishing Lake Mead, to be completely honest. I mean, Lake Mead's, one of my home bodies of water, and I'm down there, constantly fishing. And every time there's a tournament, there's so many things on my mind that, I caught fish here, I caught fish doing this, I caught fish here. I got so many different spots that I'm constantly inside of my head. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Going into the first season with no, no previous past experience. I'm just going to go into it with a wide open mind, and do the research like I'm talking about, and go in and just do the best that I possibly can with the information that I find in the 3 days that I'm there. So I think it actually puts me in a better position. I perform well, and in the past I've had better tournaments when all I had was 3 days and no preconceived notion. So I'm looking forward to it.
Koppel Outfitters wants you to go have an adventure now. Koppel Outfitters specializes in adventure gear. Anything you need for getting outside, Koppel Outfitters has it and more. Go have an adventure now.
We're talking to Chase Colby. He is fishing the National Professional Fishing League in 2021. They've just released their new schedule, and we're talking about how he is preparing for this upcoming season. We know the sponsor game is very important in being able to finance a tour season. Have you established any partnerships that you can share with us?
I have, yeah. I appreciate you asking. It is, like you say, it's one of the biggest parts of the game is having good partnerships, and it's been long in the making. It's been kind of frustrating, but it's been very rewarding at the same time. So yes, I have a couple of title sponsors. X Insurance, they are a custom limited liability insurance company in all 50 states. They're based right here in Utah. Great guys, great people. We formed a really good relationship with those guys. So they're going to be my title sponsor. So feel free to go check them out on Instagram at X Insurance. They do a lot of different summit events and things like that. So great company. And then Motor Guide. I formed a really good relationship with Motor Guide this year. I'm going to be running one of their new Tour Pro, which is the only trolling motor on the market that's a anchor lock that is an actual cable steer, which I'm looking forward to. That specific cable steer rather than the electronic foot pedal. So that and Aqua View. Aqua View has really stepped up with me this year. Being from the West Coast and an extremely clear water fisherman. Aqua View has always been, one of my main tools, trying to find underwater offshore structures. So I will definitely be utilizing the Aqua View as for a tool, checking out all the offshore structure for a lot of these different lakes, trying to give myself the competitive advantage that I'll need. So, and then several other Strike King, Lose. I know I'm probably missing a couple, but still working on a couple of contracts with some other non-endemics. So it hasn't, completely all came together, but it's looking good. We're doing good.
So let me talk a quick about that Aqua View. That Aqua View is an interesting concept. We know that there's live scope electronics out there now that you can see things as they're happening, and it's been documented how amazing that is. But even with live optics, you really can't tell what those fish are down there, right?
That's correct. I've been familiar with the live scope. I've been running the Garmin live scope, for this last year, and it is definitely a competitive advantage. You're able to see those fish, exactly where they are, where they're on the structure, how they're reacting to your bait. I actually utilize the live scope, a lot with crankbait fishing. I'm able to, cast and make a 60, 80-foot cast and actually see the exact depth that my crankbait is getting down to specifically. And then I'm able to watch the fish, react to it. If they come up to it and they don't get it, then I know I need to change my color. But going back to the Aqua View, where I'll utilize that is during practice. It's really very similar to hunting. I'm a very avid bow hunter, and we go out and spend hours and hours and hours before the hunt, setting trail cams and trying to research and do all the scouting. So the Aqua View, in my opinion, is very similar to a trail cam. When you're out there for practice, you're utilizing it to look at the structure and find the specific bait that's on the structure, so that you can actually come back to those structure, the man-made structures, and actually catch those fish, rather than in practice accidentally catching one or something. It just gives you the confidence that you need to know that there's actually fish sitting on those brush piles, and the quality of fish. So the Aqua View is definitely a very beneficial tool for that.
So now in the professional tournament game, one of the big things always is that title sponsor. You've already mentioned a couple of them that you have, but who is going to wrap your boat? Whose name will be on your boat? Will it be all of those sponsors, or will it be one primary sponsor? Or
yeah, so X Insurance is my title boat sponsor, and then obviously Motor Guide and Aqua View will be on the wrap as well. So the title sponsor will be X Insurance, though. They're my title sponsor.
Can you share with us a little bit about what those meetings are like? I mean, I think that for the fans out there, they see all the names and the sponsors and this kind of thing, but I don't know if they really understand what goes into it. Can you share a little bit about what does a sponsor expect from you, and what do you expect from the sponsor?
Yeah, it's it's a very competitive market. As everybody knows, reaching out and trying to get sponsor relationships and partnerships are, it's not easy. There's no doubt about it. It's a roller coaster, but you just keep after it. In return for a guy like me, when I reach out to a title sponsor, in return is compensation for my time, and very valuable advertising space, for the brand and for the company. But in addition to that, you become an employee of that company, on the water and off the water. We've formed a partnership specifically with X Insurance to do a lot of different summit activities, fishing. We're going to do several guiding trips specifically for X Insurance for a lot of their different customers and their future customers. So, in return, the sponsors really rely on you to advertise and become a very hardworking employee for them.
Now, this is a fascinating part of this business, because there really is a lot of marketing done. Do you, when you approach them, do you put together a marketing plan and submit that to them, or do you guys sit around a table and throw things out and ideas so that you know what they need and they know what you need? How does that work? Do you just submit a plan, or how does that work?
Yeah, at first, it all becomes from a marketing plan, a presentation that I have developed and put together, and every presentation is different depending on whether it's a non-endemic or an endemic, or if it's a industry tackle company or something like that. So every presentation is different per brand or per company, if you will. But to start it all off, essentially it's cold calling, which reaching out to a lot of these different companies. And yes, there's a marketing plan, a presentation that I put together. And then, when you get to the point and the level that you're sitting around a round table, that's, essentially that's the goal. So then it becomes, each other's ideas, and you become business partners, essentially.
Okay, now you just kind of shifting gears a little bit. You mentioned that you're going to document your tour season. Will you be creating a YouTube channel? Will you be making this part of your podcast series? How will you be documenting your season this year?
Both, actually. We're gonna fire back up the podcast and keep everybody up to date on the podcast. And then yes, it'll be a YouTube series. We're gonna call it Live Your Dream. And yes, we've already got a YouTube channel. We kind of started it about a year ago, just kind of playing around with it and educating ourselves on editing and different stuff like that. But yes, it's the channel is called Chase Colby Co. And the series that we're going to do specifically for the NPFL series is going to be called Live Your Dream. So we're going to document everything from the time we leave, the travels all the way there, where I'm sure we're going to run into some issues, with traveling, and it could get comical and it might not be. So it might be kind of interesting. And then, with practice, and then we're going to document the media day when we're there, and then, every single way in and then all the way back home. So.
Well, Chase, this is I find this to be terribly exciting. Number one, it's a new tournament organization. They have stepped up very big. I know that they've assembled some pretty amazing talent to be their on air face, so to speak. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. It's good to know that you're going to be there. It's going to be fun to watch you as we go along. Best of luck to you, and let's talk again before the season starts.
You got it. And again, I appreciate you having me on, and not only the first time, but now the second time. So I'm looking forward to it as well, and hopefully everybody chimes into the live coverage that the National Professional Fishing League is going to produce, and I look forward to it.
All right. Well, take care and good luck to you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Thanks a lot.
Wardrobe for the Bass Tour Anglers podcast is provided by Koppel Outfitters. Go have an adventure. Visit them online at www.koppeloutfitters.com and on social media at Koppel Outfitters.